Welcome to the third module of Theory of Computation. In this module, we are going to learn about regular expressions and its relation with finite automata. In the last two modules, we were learning about finite automata of different kinds like NFA, DFA, epsilon NFA and so on. So finite automata are kind of machine-like descriptions, and now we are trying to have an alternative kind of representation in the declarative format. That is, we are trying to specify the language supported by the finite automata, which is called by the regular language. To specify the regular language, we use regular expressions, which consist of the simples and related operations. To define regular expression, the simplest regular expressions are the empty string and the symbol A from an alphabet set. So if we have two regular expressions, say represented by R1 and R2, we can build a regular expression using the operations defined as union, concatenation, closure and also parenthesis, which enforce precedence. The union is the union of two regular expressions represented by the plus operator. Concatenation is a regular expression followed by another regular expression written in the format of R1, R2, and the closure is the R1 star. So nothing else is a regular expression unless it is built from all the basic rules. Given in the slide are different examples of regular expressions. These are the different questions for doing regular expressions. Please attempt all these questions. This is also a set of questions to write the regular expressions. Now to define the formal regular expression, R is a regular expression if it is A for some A in the alphabet sigma, and epsilon standing for the language of epsilon, and phi which represents the empty language. We also have R1 plus R2, where R1 and R2 are regular expression and plus signifies union. Sometimes you can see the pipe symbol also used. And you have R1, R2, where R1 and R2 are regular expression and this signifies concatenation. You have R star, where R is a regular expression and it signifies closure. The parenthesized R is also a regular expression. Now let us look at the equivalence between the finite automata and regular expression. We can express a DFA in terms of a regular expression, and the vice versa, like we can express a regular expression as an epsilon NFA. As you all know, since we can convert an epsilon NFA into NFA and DFA, so the regular expression will be equivalent to all the automata we have described. So the algebraic laws of regular expression, the most important one which you should learn is union and concatenation. They behave sort of like addition and multiplication. Please remember that the plus, that is for the union, is commutative and associative, and concatenation is only associative. Concatenation is not at all commutative. Now concatenation is over plus. In this slide, you can see the set of identities for regular expression. It is better to learn all these identities by heart. Important identities and annihilators for the regular expression is phi is the identity for the union operator, that is R plus phi equals R, whereas epsilon is or lambda is the identity for concatenation, and you write it as epsilon R is equal to R epsilon equal to R, whereas phi is the annihilator for concatenation, that it makes the regular expression disappear, that is phi followed by R or R followed by phi is equal to phi. Now let us look at the basic example of how to convert a regular expression into epsilon NFA. So you can see the representations of NFAs for the simplest regular expressions like A, epsilon and phi in this slide. In this slide, you can see the regular expressions for S plus T, ST, and you note that S plus T is kind of a parallel circuit and ST is a kind of a series circuit. You can also see the NFA for S star, and which is the closure regular expression, and please note that all this is epsilon NFA. Let's look at an example of regular expression, that is AB plus A the whole star. Let us look how we are going to convert it into an NFA. So we have to proceed in star stages. We have to work out the simple elements and then connect them together. So in this slide you can see the NFA for the symbol A, the symbol B, also for the symbol A followed by B, which is connected by epsilon. This you can first see the regular expression AB plus A getting converted into an epsilon NFA. So you have two parallel paths One is for AB, one is for A, which takes you to the final state. Then the second one is where you will take the closure. So AB plus A, the whole star, is connected through epsilons. Now let us look into the vice versa situation, that is converting a DFA to the regular expression. It is expressed using the Arden's theorem. The Arden's theorem is used to convert a given DFA towards regular expression. So the Arden's theorem is stated as, if P and Q are two regular expression over sigma and P does not contain the null string epsilon, then R is equal to Q plus RP has a unique solution, that is R is equal to QP star. To use Arden's theorem, please remember two conditions, that is, we shouldn't have any epsilon transition and there must be only a single initial state. Following is the method to do the conversion of a DFA to the regular expression. So you create equations of the following form for all the states of the DFA having n state with initial state is Q1. So each of these equation, Rij represents the set of labels of edges from Qi to Qj. If no such edges exist, then we can make Rij equals null set. And the second step is where you solve all these equations to get the equation for the final state in terms of Ri. Now let us look at an example. For the given DFA, you have Q1 as the initial state. The equation for the three states Q1, Q2 and Q3 is first. This slide represents the way of solving the above set three equations by applying the Arden's theorem, and the final output will give you the regular expression. Yet another example where you have the initial state Q1 and the final state as Q2. We write down the equations for Q1, Q2 and Q3. Now these equations are solved with the help of identities and Arden's theorem, and the final regular expression is obtained. Now moving to the next topic called pumping lemma. Pumping lemma is a theorem which states that L be a regular language, then there exists a constant C such that for every string W in L whose length is greater than or equal to C, we can break W into three strings like X, Y and Z such that modulus of Y is greater than 0 and modulus of XY is less than 0. Then for all k greater than 0, the string X, Y raised to K Z is also in L, that is, the string Y is being pumped. Even if you can have a Y pumping, then that particular string also belongs to the regular language. What is the use or applications of pumping lemma? Pumping lemma is to apply to show that certain languages are not regular. It should never be used to show that a language is regular. So if L is regular, it satisfies pumping lemma. If L does not satisfy pumping lemma, it is non-regular. Now how do we prove that a particular language is not regular using pumping lemma is, as the first step we have to assume L is regular. So the pumping lemma should hold for L. Using the pumping lemma, we obtain or we try to do a proof of contradiction. First we select W such that modulus of W is greater than C. Then we select Y such that Y is greater than or equal to 1. Then you select X and assign the remaining string to Z. You select K such that the resulting string is not in L, and by proof of contradiction we state that L is not regular. Let's move on to the closure properties of regular languages. A closure property is a statement that a certain operation on languages, when applied to languages in the same class, produce a result that is also in the same class. So we are considering the closure properties of regular languages. So for regular languages, let us see what are the closure properties. The regular language is closed under union, concatenation and clean closure. That is, if L and M are regular languages, so is L union M, LM and L star. The regular language is closed under intersection also. That is, if L and M are regular languages, then L intersection M is also a regular language. So in this example, A and B are the DFAs whose languages are L and M respectively. We construct a product automata, the product automata of A and B. So, and you have to make the final states of C, the product automata, as the pairs consisting of the final states of both A and B. So in this, the final states are B and C. So all those are marked as the final states. If L and M are regular languages, then so is L minus M, which is strings in L but not in M. The regular languages is closed under the complement operation also. The complement of a language is defined as sigma star minus L. Since sigma star is surely regular, the complement of a regular language is always regular. The set of regular languages is closed under the reversal operation also. LR refers to the set of strings whose reversal is in L. Let E be a regular expression. So we form the basis of E, and you can see the induction step that if E is F plus G, Fg and F star, ER, that is E reversal, is also defined in the same manner. So the reversal of a regular expression also results in a regular language is also closed under the homomorphism property. So let us see what is homomorphism. Homomorphism on an alphabet is a function that gives a string for each symbol in that alphabet. So h of 0 will result in AB, h of 1 will result in epsilon. So coming to the closure under homomorphism, if L is a regular language and H is a homomorphism, then H of L will result in H of W, which is also a regular language. An example for closure under homomorphism is given in the slide, which is self-explanatory. Thus, this takes us to the end of the third module.